on blast.
And we are live. This is the Wrap It Up on Blast Raps postgame show. As always, my name is Sheldon Alexander, and this episode of Wrap It Up is brought to you by Clean Cuts Barbershop, 2013 Danforth Avenue in the East End of Toronto. Clean Cuts, the multicultural barbers that will always keep you fresh for any and all occasions. So go see Skip and the crew. As a wise man once said,
Tell them that I sent you.
Check them out on Instagram at Clean Cuts Toronto or give them a call, 416-917-4833 to book your appointments now. Well, Raptors fans.
Yep.
How's everybody doing so far today? Shouts to everybody that is watching right now live on Twitter at Shell Alexander. Taking your comments and questions there, of course. Like, share, retweet, get all that
guys,
stuff out there to share.
Smash that like button, guys. And smash the like button for all the amazing YouTubers.
Same thing goes for people watching live on Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. Those are the two ways you can best interact with us live.
Yep.
Get your comments and questions in. At any moment, we'll get to them for sure. And of course, if you can't listen live, just know that this becomes a podcast, which you can find on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and YouTube. Just search On Blast Podcast because it's the Wrap It Up podcast.
It is.
It's part of the On Blast Podcast Network.
It is.
So whenever you see that, guys, also like, subscribe, share with all your friends, all your Raptors fans, your bandwagon Raptor fans.
Make the community bigger. Yeah, let's get some good comments in there. We love it, guys. We appreciate it all of it. Thank you.
Here's the thing, right? Right now, the way that things are going, you go to work every day, and now everybody wants to talk Raptors. Just like everybody wants to talk Leafs.
Yeah.
Or everyone wants to talk Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's the bandwagon time.
It's the bandwagon time. It's April. Or the Masters. Tiger Woods is back, y'all.
Whatever's going on, people want to talk about it, and people are going to want to talk about the Raptors and what they did as they even up the series at 1. After a very disappointing game 1, the Raptors come back to win big, 111-82. If I'm not mistaken, this is the largest margin of victory in Raptors playoff history.
Yep.
Massive win for the Toronto Raptors, and I didn't even introduce my guy, Mr. Bellamo. Bellamo, what's going on, my dude? How you feeling?
I feel a lot better today than I did in game 1. Quick note, Kawhi Leonard played 33 minutes again, but we're okay with it this time. We didn't need him all that much. He played amazing. The Raptors all played amazing. Perfect clock management by Nick Nurse. Great game, man. Great game. Well played.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned Kawhi Leonard off the top, right? And the thing here, because the biggest thing I was upset about or rattled about in the first game was Kawhi Leonard's minutes.
Yeah,
you can't lose a game and your best player who's been on load management for the whole year, that might only be here for
1 season.
Exactly. And you only play him 33 minutes and lose in the playoffs. This time around, you mentioned his minutes tonight, but it was the way the minutes were handled. And Nick Nurse did a very good job. If I'm going to crush him in game 1, I'm going to praise him in game 2.
Yeah.
Because the key here is what he did was he managed Kawhi Leonard's foul trouble. Kawhi had 2 early fouls in the first quarter, didn't panic, left him in, let him rock with it. And then even once he picked up his 3rd foul, he didn't like hesitate or, take Kawhi out or anything. He let it ride. And then the same thing again. This was the biggest change. Normally, what was the thing that we talk about all the time? The bench gives up the lead.
Yeah.
This time, Nick Nurse, to start the second quarter, instead of having Kawhi come in with like 7 minutes left, no. Him and Kyle came in to start the second quarter.
Yeah.
Boom, Raptors were off and running. That was key. Same thing done in the third quarter. Let Kawhi rock out despite the foul trouble. And you got to give Nick Nurse a lot of credit. He trusts his vet. He trusts his best player to go out and play with foul trouble, and it didn't affect the minutes at all. I mean, blowout victory, so whatever. But he was in position that if you needed him to go to play 40 in a close game, he would have been cool to do so. What did you think of Kawhi Leonard's performance tonight?
Well, we got the playoff Kawhi that he was talking about. I was getting texts from my buddies. Everybody was praising him. Obviously, he played amazing. His shot was on. What was
Kawhi finished? Kawhi finished with 37 points, 15 for 22 overall. But he started at one point. What's the latest I had? He was 11 for 13.
Yeah, and he missed one little layup too, guys. That was kind of a little off. But listen, this is what we waited for all year. Okay, he played amazing. We were saying it back and forth. I didn't know if Kawhi was going to actually come in the fourth.
Yeah.
Because they had such a big lead.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now Nurse, maybe leave him out. But you know what? He came in, he played. I think he went out with about 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
It's just, I think Kawhi now, I don't know what he's saying. I think his engine's going. And Nurse put him in just to say, okay, go do it.
I totally would have understood, just like I'm sure most Raptors fans would have understood if he didn't
sat
play in the fourth quarter.
When you were up 30.
But the thing I will say, and I'm not saying Nick Nurse did this solely because of what happened last night to the Clippers in the Warriors game.
Yeah.
But it's fresh in your minds. And it's just a reminder. The Clippers obviously came back from, 31 points down to beat the Warriors last night. And I'm not saying that the Magic could have done that to the Raptors, but one thing we've learned from this season.
I was going to say, the Raptors are known to give up big leads.
Not even the Raptors, just the NBA.
NBA in
because
general.
the way that the league is playing now, where it's so much faster, it's so much more up-tempo, three-pointers are basically every team's running and gunning and shooting threes.
Yeah.
30-point leads aren't exactly what 30-point leads used to be.
No.
Right? So I kind of understood why he just had Kawhi and Kyle stay out there just to make sure, secure the victory in this instance.
It worked out perfect.
Totally. And this was a Kawhi Leonard that Raptors fans, if you were mad during the season seeing the load management, right? You're upset over that. Kawhi Leonard so far has been as advertised in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because he's come out in both games right away, and he's just been cooking.
Yeah.
As soon as the ball was tossed in the air, Kawhi was going to work.
Yeah.
And that, to me, it's so incredible. Like, how refreshing is it as a fan of the Toronto Raptors to see someone on your team that you know is one of the top 5 players in the world?
Yeah,
how refreshing is that to see?
I mean, well, what's fresh in the memory is the DeMar and Kyle playoffs, right? Granted, they got to the Eastern Conference Finals one year. We always got stop-blocked, or road-blocked, I should say, by LeBron. But we never really got to see anything besides the Vince Carter 50 points with Iverson. We never got to see anything magical. Now, I know it's only 2 games, but you can see that something special is about to happen this playoff run if it goes long.
Yeah.
And Kawhi is a different breed. You can just see the way he gets to the basket really easy, the passes he does, the way him and Gasol were reading each other. And then you add in a little bit of Kyle with the energetic burst that he had, finding the way to the lane, and then what can you say about Pascal? Pascal's playing amazing. Listen, guys, this isn't no homer stuff. We're breaking down what was almost a perfect game by the Raptors here. It was perfection.
Kawhi comes up with 37 points, and that's like legit what you need your superstars to do. And I know this was a blowout game, but if this was a little closer, he could have went for like 50, right? Like he was shooting efficiently for the majority of the game.
34 in the third quarter.
It was stupid what Kawhi Leonard did in this game. But you mentioned the difference between watching Kawhi Leonard and then the Kyle and DeMar Raptors, right?
Yeah.
And 2 things. One, it's amazing to see guys like Kawhi, but also, Gasol, Danny Green affect the game on the defensive end of the floor as well. That's massive, right?
Yes. Yeah, Kawhi got a big steal.
You mentioned the Kyle Lowry. We kind of got a glimpse of that Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan Raptors in game 1, where Kyle Lowry finished with 0 points.
Yep.
Tons of talk in the 2 days in between games 1 and game 2 about, are you worried about Kyle Lowry? How is he going to bounce back? All of that. Well, Kyle Lowry, to start the game, first off, Kyle Lowry, one of the first plays of the game, after Kawhi obviously got busy and got a bucket, Kyle Lowry gets the ball, drives right to the basket, gets fouled, did the same play that, hey, if you listen to this podcast, we talk about it all the time. I call it the Chauncey Billups, where I'm getting to the free throw line because I'm going to get points.
Yeah.
So he basically hooks the
did
arm,
that all night.
Gets to the free throw line, misses the first one.
Yeah, I know.
But then the crowd
goes
started
crazy.
roaring. The crowd was so loud cheering him while he was getting ready to shoot the second free throw. He hits it, and the crowd erupts.
Yeah. And that broke the ice right there.
Those were 2 great signs early. One, we got a real Raptors playoff crowd,
Yeah.
which I'm always here to see because I get disappointed when that shit's quiet.
Yeah, like how sometimes the Leafs fans could be.
And sometimes the Raptors have gotten to be as well because people are getting priced out.
Yeah.
But also, Kyle Lowry, you could see that he was focused. He was ready to put that narrative behind him. And
the game face on.
The stat that they showed earlier on in the game, Kyle Lowry in game 2s at home,
what I was gonna say.
averages 18, 5, and 8 in game 2s at home.
Yeah, there was a stat out there. Even everybody was kind of talking about it yesterday. Now that they had a data get over the 0-point game. And we kind of, if we refresh our memories, we always knew that Kyle always had a bounce back game.
Yeah.
And he did this game too.
He definitely did. And
he was getting to the net.
Kyle Lowry with 22 points in this game, 8 of 13.
Energy.
That's great shooting percentage, 8 of 13, 2 of 4 from 3. Also gave you a 7 assists, as we're used to seeing, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, a block, took a couple charges.
And he completely outplayed DJ Augustine, who
Definitely
completely outplayed Kyle in game 1.
Yeah.
I mean, DJ Augustine really didn't do much today.
This was a Kyle Lowry revenge game for sure. And my whole thing at the end of last game, we were talking about it during the podcast. I was like, you don't need Kyle Lowry to go out and get you 22 points.
No.
If he does that, great.
Yeah.
You're ecstatic. You'll take that. You need Kyle Lowry to get you at least a solid 10, but be the threat to knock down that open 3.
Yep, go to the
and
net.
Also go to the basket.
Yep.
Exactly.
Take a charge.
Yes. Do all those things.
Dive for a loose ball foul. Get the crowd pumped up.
The Kyle Lowry bounce back, though.
Yeah.
You happy to see that?
Yeah, definitely. Like I was telling you that with the team we have with Kawhi and then Pascal and then the veteran leadership of Gasol, who made some crazy sick passes today, and we'll get into that after. There was the one with Kyle and the one with Kawhi, sick passes. But yeah, when you add the element of Kyle being Kyle tonight, granted he's up and down sometimes, but when you get the Kyle that's the Kyle tonight, that driving to the basket, getting all the defenders to go chase him, opening up guys on the 3-point line, playing with heart. One basket he hit, and you could see the face. It was going to commercial, and he had that bulldog face. You're looking when you get that Kyle.
Yeah,
this team could be unstoppable.
It's true,
right?
And you're gonna get that because we talk about it. Pascal is now the second scorer.
Yeah.
Consistent,
which is good because in the beginning of the season, what we were saying, like, where are we going to have the second scorer? And I said, what is Kyle?
But now
we know.
But when you go down the line now, that third scoring is coming from either Kyle or Danny Green. Danny Green had 0 points in this game, and it doesn't matter.
Nobody will be talking about it.
Nobody's going to even mention it. Nobody's going to care that he was 0 for 4 or 0 for 3 from 3 in this game. Nobody's going to care. He still played his great defense. But maybe his focus was guarding DJ Augustine, which was the adjustment in this game. And you touched on it, Mikey. You said DJ Augustine struggled. He was 1 for 6 in this game, 9 points. Most of that came from the free throw line as he was 7 for 7 from the line.
Yeah.
A far cry from how he affected the game with 25 and the game icing plays in game 1.
And Q said that last podcast too. He says, I'm not scared of DJ Augustine.
No.
And one quick point about Danny Green. And when Danny Green does have an off night like this, his reputation of a shooter doesn't alter. Exactly. So even if he is having a bad off night, the guys are still going to contest him, right?
Yeah.
Which then still opens a floor where sometimes if Kyle isn't, they might step back a bit, right? So that's a difference a little bit between a pure shooter and Danny having an off night and maybe somebody else, right?
And it's also a talking point we've had the whole year as well, just about Danny Green and Kawhi and Gasol and even Lowry. Yeah. But this team, with Pascal included, top to bottom, for the most part, guys that affect the game in different ways. So we think, hey, Danny Green's shooting has been incredible, leading the NBA for since the All-Star break.
Yep.
Leading the NBA in threes, or at least top 3,
I'm not mistaken. Him and Pascal, I think, leading top 5 in plus minus.
For sure. But even in this game when he doesn't score, DJ Augustine is a non-factor in this game. That's what winning teams do in the playoffs, right? You have players that accept a role, take their role, embrace their role, right? If that's the thing, hey, DJ Augustine killed us last game. Danny, we need you to shut him down. Boom. There you go.
And he shut him down. He shut him down last game, too, in the third quarter. We mentioned the stat last game that DJ Augustine had 6 points in the second half after having 19 in the first half.
Yeah.
And 5 of those came in 30 seconds. And all of that was because Danny Green was on him, right?
It was just a great performance by the Raptors, for sure.
To put him back on.
I'm going to mix things up and get to some comments a little earlier just because there's so many and I don't want to fall behind. But, again, shout to you guys for always commenting and joining the show live. Whether you're on Twitter at Shell Alexander or on Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. Huge shout to you guys tuning in live for sure. Let's get to some comments on Twitter. We get one from Eli Anthony. He says, "What a game. Monster game from Kawhi. Lowry proving naysayers wrong. Man, what a great time to be alive. Not just what a time to be alive. What a great time to be alive."
You got the Leafs winning yesterday.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the Raps winning today. The
Whole
Leafs play again tomorrow. It's like every day is Christmas.
The whole city's on a wave.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Fresh LA says third quarter Kawhi. That's all I'm going to say. Kawhi, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had 17 or 19 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
That's basically when the game was just over.
Yeah, the Raps outscored them by 12, I think, in that quarter, and that's where they got to like a 25, 30-point lead.
And the beauty of Kawhi's game to me is that he gives it to you like in all different ways.
Left-handed cram, goes to the basket, he'll shoot that low. Guys, if you notice his shot, I've said it's so low.
Yeah.
There's no arc on it, but it's beautiful. It's perfect. It just goes right off into the back of the net, into the mesh. It's
Like, I just love that, he comes out aggressive right from Jump Street, and then it's just, whether
then
it's
on the
drive to the
defensive side.
baskets, like, he was blowing by defenders, getting in the lane, and just hitting that fadeaway, that little tight fadeaway in the key. He hit that early. Then it turned to, he was driving all the way to the basket, getting dunks.
Yeah.
Then just a three-point shot is so wet. And I know his numbers are always good from three in past years even, but watching it in person, game in, game out, I'm almost amazed at how wet his three-point shot
I know.
is.
All mesh.
There was
Mostly.
the one play I said he took the James Harden step aside three and hit Gordon with it, right? Like, this guy is crazy. And
Hey, Gordon played a good game too. We got to give credit where credit's due. Aaron Gordon played a really good game. One of the only guys. Him and Ross.
It was a blowout anyways, but if it wasn't for those two guys, this would have been real
Ross was cooking
early.
too.
But the other thing I was going to say about Kawhi is just that playoff Kawhi is as advertised.
It is.
Because that is just so far incredible.
15 of 22, guys, if you don't know. 3 of 3 from the free throw lines and 4 of 8 from 3 points and a whole handful of nasty dunks
for
Kawhi.
Kawhi Leonard, yes.
Just throwing the stats back out there.
I hear you.
And wait, did he tie? No, DeRozan has
DeRozan had
39, right?
37. I think
so
DeRozan
he
had
tied.
37. He tied DeRozan. Chris Bosh and Vince had 39, and Vince also has 50.
Against Iverson, which I'll never forget.
Those
that
are
game.
the best performances in Raptors
Raptors
playoff history. And again, if this was a closer game and Kawhi needed to get that 50,
he'd hit 40, 42, especially with 33, playing 33. Yeah, he'd be up to 40, 44 minutes or whatever.
was
Yeah,
crazy.
he would have went off.
My guy C Brown says playoff Kawhi is pretty good. Gasol is a game changer.
Yeah.
Lowry is a workhorse. We talked about Lowry. We talked about
I wanted
Kawhi.
to ask you, what did you think about Gasol tonight?
So at this point, and I'm not, trust me when I say this, the people who are day ones always following us, and we've been arguing about Gasol,
the Gasol,
ever
the
since the
JV trade.
For sure. I'm not going to have that argument. That's not what I'm doing. I'm actually trying to
We're way past that. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to help you guys out here.
Yeah.
Because if you're still looking at the box score and his scoring and rebounding numbers to help you decide whether or not he had a positive impact on the team, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Right? So you look at the box score and you say, okay, he had 9 points. Those were on 3 straight threes he hit in the third quarter, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And you look, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Look at that. You say he only took 5 shots from the floor, got to the foul line. Didn't get to the foul line at all.
No.
So you're going to look at that and you're going to be like, nah.
But 2 of those assist guys are pretty nasty too, and
For sure. But then what if I
that
tell
a
you,
lot of people could do.
But then what if I tell you that your starting center got you 4 steals in a game?
Yeah, I did not know.
Right?
Like, 4 steals.
It just what? Like, it doesn't make sense. And so the defensive intangibles that he brings, the way that he's, because he's not fast. He's not quick.
He's lost a step.
It's positioning.
Yeah.
And once you get that position and you're throwing your hands up in certain positions to get in passing lanes, that's the way that he affects it on defense. And if you go back to why the Raptors lost game 1, which was a little miscommunication between him and Kawhi
at the end.
on the pick and roll, and then you watch how they handled the pick and roll in this game, you saw a lot of steals early, and that was just them knowing what they're doing. Is Gasol going to fully step up? Is he just going to hedge and show and get his hands up? And that caused a lot of turnover for Orlando early.
That comes with more run, right? The more run they get. And the other thing about Gasol, too, that I know we're always like beating a horse with a dead stick, beating a dead horse with a stick, but we don't see how he is in the locker room or on a timeout or stuff, right? I don't know either, but I'm pretty sure what he's been through in the veteranship, you know what I mean? He's got a voice in there. So it's just another adage to it.
The part that people miss, like you won't really understand about the game of basketball unless you're like in it, meaning like a player, and I'm not even saying that I fully understand this.
like an actual player.
But I'm saying for Marc Gasol to know that he can score night in, night out, and then come into this team and say, I'm okay to shoot 5 times, and I'm going to run the offense, be the facilitator. Set picks to free up Kawhi, free up Siakam, free up Kyle to get his shots going early, right?
And they did a nice little give and go, too.
Yeah, to accept that role as a vet, as an all-star, as a proven commodity in the NBA, to accept that role with this team.
Yeah.
That takes a lot. And anyone that doesn't like that, I don't really understand. But I'll go to our DJ Raymond on Instagram says, anybody that doesn't appreciate Gasol is whack.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's a perfect, and for playoffs, that's what you want. You want someone that does all those intangibles. Not just another guy who's going to get you 18 points and 11 rebounds. We have those guys. We got Ibaka. We got Siakam who do that. We have Green that can shoot. God, we got Norm Powell that could get a 16 on a playoff game. If you know what I mean. So I mean, I listen. We love JV. JV gave us his all.
Shouts to him for showing up to game 1 too. That's a cool look.
They're family still, right? But I mean, this like Sheldon's saying, this is what Gasol does. Is all the little stuff that we didn't really have.
But it's also just fitting in the role. And another thing that cannot be overlooked is who is Orlando's all-star? Vucevic. Vucevic has not played well in this series at all.
He hasn't.
Gasol's
second game in a row. Yeah.
Gasol's defense on Vucevic, who only was 3 for 7 in this game for 6 points and 6 rebounds. That's back-to-back games where Vucevic has not played well against Marc Gasol.
He's boxing him out good.
Exactly, and that's something that, again, is not going to show up on the box score for Gasol.
Yeah. You don't get boxed out stats, right?
But just like the effectiveness that he's done on Vucevic in terms of, the defensive positioning, making him have to work hard on the defensive end, on the glass, like all of those things matter. Him having to chase out and play defense on the perimeter because that's where Gasol's setting up the offense or the Raptors run the offense. All those things are way different than a center is going to be normally used to. And the impact that Gasol has had, like, for their all-star to be a complete non-factor the first 2 games.
Yeah. And pretty much, one of their best players, at least this season.
Oh, he's their all-star, no? Right?
But sometimes all-star can just be voted in. He legit was one of their best players this season, right?
More comments, on Twitter. Haven't seen a Raptor go off like that in the playoffs since Vince. Sad.
Yeah.
DeMar's 39. I don't even remember what that game was.
I don't remember when it was. Did it mean anything? Did they lose? Did they win? Yeah,
I don't remember that game at all.
I don't know either.
I mean,
Bosh,
again,
I couldn't recall
to
that.
me,
either.
it was the efficiency of how Kawhi was scoring. Like, it was different. It was a different kind of game that he was having. Because at one point, as I mentioned, when he was shooting such a high percentage, 2 or 3 of those misses were layups. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
he went
the
a little
efficiency.
hard off the glass on one.
Oh, it was crazy. More comments here. Augustine was Dame Lillard in game 1. LOL. That's pretty funny. He was. Let's get to comments on Instagram because we got a lot of comments there too. Alex says Kyle Lowry woke up. He really did.
And good on the fans too. I know we mentioned it, but for everyone to give him the support.
I'm
right?
laughing at this comment.
Read it.
James says Lowry enabled Thicko mode.
Thicko mode.
Oh man, that's
some
pretty
jokers.
good. That's pretty good. Said it before. Gasol had a great game.
Yeah.
More comments. 3 fake passes into threes. Let the magic sag off Big Spain. It's true.
Yeah.
His threes are wide open. And again, the scouting reports is you're going to follow Kawhi to the basket. If Kawhi's cutting to the basket, you're going to follow that. Siakam's going to the basket, you're going to follow that.
Yeah.
Gasol's open. He has to take that shot. And as much as he keeps showing that he can make the shot, that's just better for the Raptors' chances going forward, the deeper they make the run. More comments. Kawhi had complete control of that game. Another comment. The old Raptors would have folded in this high-stakes game. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. And I mean, the Raptors always, guys, they lost the first game always, and they always came back and evened the series, right? I don't think they've ever even gone. I mean, well, besides the Cleveland games, majority of the times they knotted it up at one apiece. 1.2. It was a little sticking point. It kind of made me nervous. So Kawhi got hit with 2 quick fouls.
Yep.
But nearing the end of the first quarter, I think Kawhi, Gasol, and Siakam all had 2 each.
Yeah.
And so it was. I was interested to see how Nurse would handle it, and I mean, it never came to anything, but he handled it well.
Yeah.
He didn't, shy away from anything. I mean, he which I didn't think he coached that good in the first game. He coached a good game today.
He definitely did, and
especially with the fouls.
And the thing is, it's a trust factor, right? And maybe the point of game 1 was everyone's kind of a little like,
they underestimated them, I think, in game 1.
I just think too, it's like you're used to the script. This is how it goes. These are how the minutes are being run, and you kind of fall into that trap of like, okay, so this is when Fred and Norm would normally come in, so we're gonna put them in now. Whereas in this game, you saw him switch it up again, bringing Kawhi in to start the second quarter, having them get extended burn in the third because he was cooking. Yeah, right.
He also, I noted, I think it was in the third. The Raptors were up by 15. Orlando made a little mini 6-0 run, I think down by 9 or 10, and he called a timeout.
Yeah.
And the Raptors, a great timeout.
Yeah.
Kind of just snip it in the bud, right? Which he didn't really do much of that in game 1.
Yeah.
So, I mean, guys, we got to remember this is Nurse's first playoff game too, right?
Yeah.
So, he went back to the drawing board, readjusted, and I think he had a sound game today.
Totally. And the Raptors' defensive intensity from the get-go was legit as well. Yeah. You mentioned they started on a 9-0 run to start the entire game.
All over them. Yeah.
The Magic were 0 for 6 to start, 3 turnovers, 0 points in the first 4 minutes of the game. Like, it was crazy. After the first quarter, the Magic were still only shooting 34% in that game. And that's another key, because we always talk about the fact that the Raptors' defense, when they get that defense going, it's turnovers, it's blocks.
Fast break points.
Exactly. Turns into fast break points. Yeah. And that's when this team becomes, that's where the talent separates itself, right? Yeah. Because talent-wise, the Raptors are way more talented than Orlando.
Yeah, of course. And Orlando's young, right?
Mm-hmm. Totally true. But speaking of Orlando, okay, at halftime, Terrence Ross and Eric Gordon had 27 points
combined.
The rest of the team had 14 points combined, okay? The rest of the team combined to shoot 3 of 24 from the floor. So if Terrence Ross didn't do what Terrence Ross did, where Terrence Ross was going off in the first half, this game would have been ugly from the get-go. Terrence Ross only finished with 15 points, and all that came in the first half. But what did you make of Terrence Ross? Did you get a little nervous seeing the Terrence Ross? Because the shots he was hitting were crazy.
Honestly, no, I didn't. I think everybody took note of DJ Augustin's game, and that was the focal point of their game plan for the defense. And they said, if Orlando is going to beat us, then Terrence Ross is going to have to beat us. And they just kind of gave him the open shots, and he hit them.
Yeah.
Right? I think the focal point was DJ Augustin because it was a problem in the first game. So that's nothing against Terrence Ross. He played well, but I just don't think it was that big of a deal for them. They kind of let him have his shots.
And to further your point, too, DJ Augustin is kind of the engine for their offense.
Yeah.
He can shoot
He
threes,
drives the ball, and
he gets the pick and roll going, and off that pick and roll, he can get other guys open shots or the alley-oop passes to their athletes.
Fast breaks if they have one. Yeah, so the game plan was shut down DJ. They did a great job of it, and then Terrence Ross just benefited from it.
Totally. Let's get to some more comments here on Instagram. Someone says, there's levels to this shit. Close quote. Kawhi Leonard. No, I don't think he really said that.
Sheldon quote.
I like it, though. I like where your head's at. The refs were also a big topic of conversation, as emphasized by this comment on Instagram, where someone says, NBA put out a memo to keep the game close with cheap foul calls.
Yeah, and Kyle, too. I don't know if you guys noticed, Kyle had about 3 or 4 fouls that he drew that were all non-shooting.
Yeah.
And he was flipping out.
Totally true.
Which were legit. They look like he was in the act of shooting.
Yeah, I didn't understand those calls at all. I'm so confused in terms of, what that actual call is now.
Yeah.
Like what is
A shooting foul.
a shooting foul? Yeah, it makes no sense to me because sometimes you see them call it, or I feel like maybe James Harden still gets those calls for sure.
Because, I mean, technically, if someone jumps in the air, you could jump up, nudge them, and
Yeah.
then take the shot, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, who knows?
It's super weird.
It
to
was,
me.
yeah, I mean,
Super
thank
weird.
God it didn't have anything to do in effect with the game because the Raptors were blowing them out. But, yeah, it seems that we never get any of the calls.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought too to give another shout out to the crowd when there was a span there where there's so many
yeah.
bad calls in a row, and the crowd was just yelling, "Refs, you suck!"
Yeah.
or "You suck, refs." They were chanting something at the refs, but it was
you,
so,
refs.
probably,
Possibly.
and it was so loud. I was just like, "Thank you." I love hearing that Raptors crowd
Yeah,
in the
Raptors crowd's
playoffs
amazing.
because it just gets to be. It's such an advantage, right?
Yeah.
Like you have
Oh,
that
yeah.
home court advantage. You have to use it.
Yeah.
Because again, when you get into buildings like Boston, Philly,
Philly, of
the
course.
Bucks,
Yeah.
their crowd's there for real.
Yeah.
It's not the suits that are
Oracle.
sitting there. Yeah, it's not the suits sitting there all quiet.
See how I said that? Oracle?
I
the
see what
finals?
you did there. They got to make it there though.
Hey.
Oh, so much going on. So much going on. But let's get to some more comments. Kyle played a great bounce back game tonight.
Wait, I want to ask the comments too, guys. So what's the deal now? Is everybody comfortable again to be saying Raps in 5? Is this going 6? Like, what's everyone's predictions now? Now they've seen both sides of it. The Orlando win.
Yeah, I
the
mean-
Raptors win.
My prediction for whoever they played in the first round
Was
was still,
5.
I said it should be Sweep City 5 max.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, if they play like they did tonight, and they are a great road team. I
Yeah.
don't know the record off by hand,
Yeah.
but you win the both of them back. You come back game 5.
so the
Should
biggest
be
worry,
done. And there's Kawhi right
the
now.
biggest worry on the road to me isn't so much the Raptors because I feel like again the Raps have veterans, right? Like,
yeah, they're
not
like I
gonna
said,
be
they're
shook.
great on the road this year.
Orlando's not a crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Home
they
court.
supposedly they sold out 2 home games in 2 hours.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, they haven't been in the playoffs in how many years?
Right.
Like,
I would hope so. But on top of that, the one thing I do worry about is Orlando, as you mentioned, they're young and they're a lot more role players than they are stars, right?
Yeah.
And the old adage about the playoffs is that your role players play better at home.
yeah.
And so
Oh,
you
I'm
could
expecting
see
a
those
tough
young
game.
kids, yeah,
I'm expecting a tough game.
getting hyped up behind the crowd. Gordon break getting a dunk here, there, T. Ross or
Yeah.
whatever. The crowd getting into it. Those guys getting
Of course.
juiced up. You could see that. So if you're the Raptors, for sure you're trying to go there and win the 2 games and close out the series as quick as possible. But if you do just have to win 1,
Yeah, it's got to go. But
Hey.
you don't want to make a second road trip. You don't
No.
want to have to go back there for game
definitely
6.
don't. You want the rest. Like
Yes.
take care of
because
business.
guys, Milwaukee. I mean, Philly's in tough. Boston's tough, but Blake Griffin is not playing for Detroit. Milwaukee is going to have a cakewalk, okay? And if that's the team we're going to be meeting in the Eastern Conference, it looks like they pretty much have a bye for this round.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you want to take advantage as much as possible.
Here's a comment from Len. Len says, I'm still in disbelief that Kawhi is a Raptor. He was a beast. This is
I know,
something
it's
I've been
amazing.
saying for the whole year.
You're giddy, I know.
No. I was going to say, enjoy this.
Yeah.
And I was saying it all season, and now in the playoffs, it's so much more heightened because there's only so many more games left, possibly in
I
Kawhi
know.
Leonard's Raptor career. So enjoy this. I
Exactly.
don't know how many more nights like this there are going to be, but enjoy it. Because how many players have we seen play at this level in a Raptor uniform?
Yeah.
Vince. Vince is the only one I'm gonna say because Vince and AI had those dueling like
Oh,
40-point
yeah,
games in
we
that
talked about
playoff
it before.
series.
That was amazing. Guys, if you haven't seen that series, if you're too young for that,
You too, man.
The 76ers Raptors series
Mm-hmm.
was one for the ages.
It was incredible.
Oh,
It was AI and Vince just
game
going back
7,
and forth.
last shot.
Yeah.
It was so good.
So, I mean, in terms of Kawhi, though,
Yep.
yeah, what he did tonight was just stupid
And it looks so easy to him too.
so easy. And it was good to do that as well for Kyle Lowry because
Yeah.
the thing is, I think what would happen sometimes with Lowry and DeRozan,
Previous Raptors
if
teams.
they would struggle, now the pressure's
It's on
on them,
Kyle.
but it's on both of them, right? And
Yeah.
I think they kind of shrunk in the moment because they knew they had to do it. Kyle Lowry, it's like the pressure should be off him in the sense that whatever we get from you is gravy.
Yeah.
Because Kawhi's going to cook every night.
And now
Siakam's going to
Pascal.
cook
Yeah.
every night. We need you to just get open shots, do all your Kyle Lowry stuff. The points, you saw him kind of get into the game,
Yeah.
and he had a little
Mean
pep in
mug.
his step. He
Yeah.
mean mugged after
Yeah.
getting to the line a couple times. He was angry, yelling at the refs. That's Kyle Lowry.
Good. That's the Kyle we want, right? That's the Kyle we know.
Oh, so good, so good. What do you think? You touched on it a bit earlier, but the Gasol Kyle Lowry chemistry, let's say.
There is a little give and go, Kyle,
good.
and it was. I mean, that's what you want to see. You want
Yeah.
to see your point guard and your big man / big man point
Yeah.
with chemistry like that. I mean, it's beautiful.
So good. Emma in the chat says, told y'all to keep the faith. LOL.
Keep the faith.
Jin says, Raptors ain't playing nice anymore.
No.
Hey, we want to see a mean Raptors team. If they just bully the Magic the next 3 games out of this series, I'd be okay with that. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah,
I'd be
hell
okay
yeah,
with
man.
that.
Like I
I
said,
think
I
that'd
want
be
the I want
amazing.
the rest because I'm aiming and looking right at the Bucks.
Yeah.
And if they have a sweep, an easy series in Detroit and all that rest,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind something like that too.
So overall, Raptors win again, 111-82 to even up this series at 1. If we look at problems from game 1
Yeah.
to solutions in game 2,
They handled it.
Kyle Lowry had 0 points in game 1. In game 2, what did Kyle Lowry finish with? 22?
24.
Kyle Lowry finished with 22 points in game 2. We talked from problems to solutions. We were complaining about Kawhi's usage, his minutes in game 1.
He got the same, but it's all he needed. He didn't want him to play any more than that and risk injury. We were up by 30. It was perfect. And he played well in those 33 minutes.
He played just 33 minutes, but I'll say this. It was different.
It was a different. It was a different 33 minutes.
Shouts to Nick Nurse for adjusting his rotation.
Yeah, Nick Nurse was the MVP of this game.
Give him
honestly,
some credit
I
for
think.
that, for
I
sure.
really do. I like the way, like you said, he started the second quarter and all that. He adjusted really well. I really like the game.
And you're seeing the trust, right, that Nick Nurse had because, again, out the gate, Kawhi in foul trouble, didn't matter,
yeah.
left him in with the 3 fouls. He comes out the gate in the second half, knocks in a 3, Gasol knocks in a 3, and then the Raptors were just off to the races.
Yeah.
It was just a great sign. Good job of Nick Nurse getting
He gets
Kawhi
his first
in
win too.
to extend it. Exactly. In his first ever
Playoff win.
playoff win. Good sign all around. Raptors turn their fortunes around. What a time to be alive in Toronto as the Leafs are up 2-1.
Yes,
The
baby.
Raptors, I know they're not up, but I feel like Raptors Nation is
The
feeling
momentum swung.
a whole lot better now than they were a couple days ago. Even though, as we said on this pod, it's not that we were worried that they were going to lose they were going to lose the series. We weren't worried about that.
No.
We were just trying to figure out the effort, let's say,
Yeah.
from why is Kawhi only playing 33 minutes
Yeah,
in a
that
loss.
was the most concerning.
That was the most concerning thing to
Yeah.
me. This tonight showed me that Nick Nurse is like, if we're going down with Kawhi emptying the clip.
Yeah.
And Kawhi did that for sure. Great game for Lowry. Siakam continues to show
Again.
that he's not scared in the playoffs.
Man. Woo.
There are still moments. I mean, 19 and 10, 8 of 16. He's been 50% in both games.
Yeah.
He's not shy in this playoffs.
And his boards too. He's grabbing them with some oomph, and like you just see the confidence, just getting even more every game.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Siakam in the regular season only averaged 8 points a game against the Orlando Magic. He really struggled. That was the only team
Yeah.
he struggled against
Well,
pretty
what-
much this season.
Who would have been on him? Jonathan Isaac? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, I've been saying it. I love Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his. But yeah,
Just
Siakam
super
got
long,
the-
super athletic
yeah.
defender.
Similar to the build of Siakam.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Siakam had the best of them today.
It's
though.
almost like that Spider-Man meme where Spider-Man pointed at Spider-Man type of
Yeah,
thing, right?
yeah.
And it threw him off.
I just seen that the other day too. Where did I seen that for?
It
something?
almost threw
Yeah.
him off in the regular season. But so far in the playoffs, Siakam's not scared. He's here putting in work.
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm interested to see how that transfers to the road
To the
game for
road.
Siakam.
Yeah.
A young kid, the playoff crowd will be a little more juiced up.
Orlando's first playoff game in a while, I think.
Yeah.
They're gonna be guys. They're gonna be pumped there. They're
I'm
gonna be
excited.
pumped there, but it's gonna be good. It's Friday, 7:00.
Yeah, big game for the Raptors. Hopefully it'll be a good Friday for the Raptors. See what I did there?
I see that. I got that.
I'm a fun guy.
I'm a fun guy.
Raptors win, Raptors win, Raptors win. 111-82. Mikey, where can the people find you if they want to hit you up in between games?
Hit me up. Like I always say, the YouTube comments, we sit and read them always. The big shout out to the YouTube community. We love you. Honestly, the comments, the good or bad, funny, everything, they're amazing. Hit me up in them. I try to get back as much as I can. Instagram, Mike Bello _6. Hit me up.
And of course, my name is Sheldon Alexander. You can find me on Twitter at Shell Alexander, where you can find this podcast after each and every Toronto Raptors game. Same thing goes for Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. We take your comments and questions there as well. Just before we leave you, let's get some comments here. Some postgame has trickled out a bit here. Do you want to hear some postgame comments?
Got some out?
Yeah, shouts to our guy Josh Lewinberg. Shouts to him for sure.
He's good.
A great follow for you Raptors fans. If you are a Raptor fan, you probably already do follow him on social media. But if you don't, at JLew1050. Great follow. He comes up with these quotes here from Kawhi on Kyle Lowry. Kawhi Leonard said, quote, "He did a great job of bouncing back. He's a pro, and that's what pros do. They know it's just one game, and they come back ready to play."
Yep.
Siakam on Lowry. For me, what I liked is that he was aggressive and he was looking to drive. I feel like the first game he was more passive, but this game from the jump, he had that fire in his eyes.
Yeah.
That's a Kyle we know.
Yep.
Exactly what we were talking about.
That's all you
right
want.
From the get-go, I want to say it was the Raptors' third possession. He took it right to the basket. And this is a theme.
He's finding the lane, too.
This is a theme that our day ones on this podcast will know. We always talk about the telltale signs that Kyle Lowry is locked in.
Being Kyle Lowry, yeah.
It's early on in the game. If he does that drive to the basket where I'm getting to the free throw line, or he takes that rhythm long three.
Long three, yeah. Rhythm long three, exactly.
If you see those two things,
he did both of those today.
You know Kyle Lowry
you do.
is ready to play that night. And again, the beauty of this team is they don't need Kyle Lowry to get you 25. They don't need that.
Nope.
They get it. It's a bonus. Cool. But they got it tonight. Blowout victory.
Yep.
So huge shouts to the Toronto Raptors for this win again. 111-82.
Pew, 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 pew.
To even the series at 1, Kawhi Leonard with the high game at 37 points in this game on 15 of 22 shooting. And just think his percentage would have been even higher if it wasn't just for some jacking up some shots late at the end of the game. Crazy great game for Kawhi Leonard. Siakam with a double-double, 19 and 10.
His first playoff double-double.
Serge even off the bench with 13 and 8. That's a great sign.
Yeah.
2 blocks as well. Great game all around for the Raptors. Hopefully they can build momentum heading into Friday's game. Friday's edition of the Wrap It Up podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be doing the podcast live from Shark Club in downtown Toronto.
Yonge and Dundas.
Yonge and Dundas Square. We'll be doing the podcast live, so that'll be a lot of fun. Tune into that for sure. You can find
down
it.
if you
for sure.
make it too.
For sure. Come down,
atmosphere.
check out the game. Leafs and Raptors will be playing at the same time, so it'll be kind of crazy Friday night. It will be. Hopefully, it's a good Friday in Toronto.
No pun.
Yeah, right.
No pun.
But yeah, lots going on. Thanks to you guys for tuning in again. And to follow up what Mikey was saying earlier, really appreciate all the likes, the shares, the comments. It's funny. I do read the comments, and to see the people who are appreciating a place to talk Raptors after the game. I really do appreciate hearing those comments.
It's a reflection of the show. Is a reflection of them. They're
totally
on the YouTube. It's their community, right?
Totally.
They all talk amongst themselves.
Totally. And as a fan myself, I would get frustrated with the fact that there was nothing after
like
the game that I could watch and talk to other Raptors fans about what just happened in the biggest games of the year. And with this being the biggest Raptor season
of the year of ever, sorry.
Ever, right? Forever, ever, right? Like this obviously is massive. So I want to thank you guys. I can't thank you guys enough for joining us on this journey as we continue to big up the biggest Raptor season in franchise history. Shouts to all you guys. Really appreciate the comments, the likes, the shares on all the platforms, whether it's on Twitter or, on Instagram or on YouTube. The comments there. Whoa, the comments after game 1.
Yeah.
That was the most comments we've gotten.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
there's
sure
over
for all
100.
season, right?
Yeah,
There were a lot of comments there.
Some Orlando fans, some Raptors fans, a lot of Kyle haters, but I'm sure everybody will be a bit easier on him today.
I'm interested to see how that goes today.
How
for sure.
everyone is calmed down for game 2.
I'm super interested to see how that goes for sure, because Kyle was taking a beating, and I mean rightfully so. You score 0 points.
Exactly.
Did you see Barkley? So Kyle,
I know he asked
Kyle
LeBron
yesterday,
to come on, but
no. So Kyle yesterday, I think it was, he was like, "Oh, I did other things. You know, I found other ways to contribute. It's not like I didn't do anything else, right?"
I played
and then
my type of game.
So they played that sound on Inside the NBA, and Barkley was like, "Hell no, hell no,
hell no."
He's like, "You're an all-star. You make whatever millions. You cannot score 0 points in a game."
Barkley's the biggest Toronto supporter too.
Oh yeah.
So that's coming from the heart, right? If you're saying that.
Well, tonight on the TNT broadcast, funny you mentioned that. He was saying at halftime, he said, "This is the biggest playoff. Like, what's going to happen next is the biggest playoff for the Raptors franchise. This is going to define, like, what happens next."
Yeah,
because Kawhi's not staying unless they go on a deep run.
Exactly. More free agents are going to come here. The type of environment, everything. Yeah, it's the biggest of the Raptors' history, definitely.
Let's get some Kyle Lowry quotes.
Yeah.
What did Lowry do differently in game 2?
Shoot.
Made some shots.
There you go. Simple.
Kyle Lowry on Kawhi Leonard. He's really good. He's a talented basketball player. He knows where he wants to be on the floor. And when he gets to those spots, he's pretty tough to guard.
Simple.
Yeah. Again, shouts to Josh Lewenberg for all those quotes and all the Raptors beat guys that are doing mega work each and every night following this team. Because let's be serious. Trying to get quotes or good sound from Kawhi Leonard is a very difficult task. Trying to deal
Ibaka couldn't even do it.
Right. That was incredible.
That was funny.
Trying to deal with Kyle Lowry from game to game isn't an easy thing to do. So I applaud and salute all the beat writers that have to do that on a day-to-day
Guys,
basis.
if you don't know what I'm talking about, you could go on YouTube and check it out. It's called Are You Hungry? And Serge Ibaka has a little game show, Are You Hungry? You cook something, and he brings on his Raptor partner, his Raptor peers, and he brings on Kawhi Leonard, and he asks him some interesting questions and awkward questions. So, check that out, man. It's funny.
Someone in the Instagram chat just goes, "Bruh, I went to bed at halftime, and I find out in the AM that the Clippers won." I did the exact same thing this morning, to be honest.
I found out this morning.
So that's why I wasn't that mad when
Kawhi played the fourth,
Oh, yeah. Damn, gasolina.
Gasolina.
Limited Fred Van Fleet, thank you.
Yeah, Fred was jacking up some shots.
I'm okay with that. Shout out to Greg Pop and DeMar for beating down the Nuggets. Oh, so they're up, 2-0?
Yeah.
Damn, that is crazy. So much going on again. Thanks to you guys for all the comments. Someone writes in and says, Serge's show is called How Hungry Are You?
How hungry are you?
Hey, that's why you guys are here.
Thank you.
You guys are here to help.
What did I probably say something about?
This is the community.
How hungry are we?
But this is what we're talking about, the community, right?
The community.
Hey,
thank you guys.
Everybody helps.
Anyways, watch that. That's funny. It's good.
We help each other out. We correct each other when we're wrong.
Got my back.
When there's people who still think Marc Gasol is not a helpful piece,
Gasolina.
We're here to reinforce that fact, to tell you the different things to look for on the court to see what's going on. But again, my name is Sheldon Alexander. Thank you for tuning in to the Wrap It Up podcast, because I really did used to pray for times like this
to rhyme like this.
This is Wrap It Up on Blast Rap's post-game show. As always, unpolished and unapologetic. Until next time, see ya.
Peace.